Good afternoon, dear friends. Today I would like to talk about sports and vegetarianism, whether it is compatible, whether you can get the necessary amount of protein with plant foods, and much more. Sit down comfortably, we begin. Can an athlete give up poultry meat and fish while performing well? As practice shows, yes it can. Some outstanding athletes have also been vegetarians such as Bill Pearl, Jim Morris, Andreas Kalinga, and others. The fact is that vegetarianism can be different. Some types allow the use of milk and eggs, some do not recognize any animal products, but there is a problem with the intake of essential amino acids. The most common mixed vegetarianism, which allows the use of milk and dairy products, fish and eggs, is the most rational system, of course. There are cases when the human body does not perceive dairy products, and this problem can be solved with the help of enzyme preparations. Can animal meat be considered the main source of protein? No, science answers this question. Plant protein is not worse, so it follows that athletes can do without meat products? In the last decade, vegetarianism has ceased to be a fad in nutrition. If earlier the supporters of vegetarianism were convinced to give up meat because of pity for domestic animals, today science sees this type of diet as an undeniable advantage. Starting with the problem of environmental pollution of the planet, since animal meat absorbs industrial toxins, agricultural fertilizers, poisons of various kinds of waste, antibiotics, as well as hormones used by meat producers to accelerate the growth of animals, inevitably enters the human body. Scientists hypothesize that the current spate of cancer and mortality, which is rapidly increasing from year to year, is caused by a high level of saturation of meat products with environmental toxins, which according to a study in the United States in the early 2000s, there were about 13 million vegetarians who had studied their health showed that they almost never get cancer, and few of them suffered from other problems. In a study in the U.S. in the early 2000s, there were about 13 million vegetarians with a history of studying their health showed that they almost no cancer. In addition, few of them suffered from another problem of our time, high blood pressure. They concluded that giving up meat is undoubtedly more beneficial to health. So vegetarianism has only pluses. The choice is unambiguous, but where there's a plus, there's a minus. A number of scientific studies have shown that vegetarians are more susceptible to various kinds of diseases than meat lovers. Among researchers, there is a popular belief that the reduction of health risks in those who adhere to a vegetarian diet associated not with the refusal of meat, but with increased use of plant products. Here are a couple of examples. In men who are not vegetarians, for life risk of coronary heart disease is 11.9% higher than in men vegetarians. The group that rarely consumed nuts was noted to develop coronary heart disease 2.6 years earlier, and the lifetime risk of coronary heart disease was 12% higher than the group that consumes nuts at least 5 times a week. As a striking example can be given, medieval Japan transition to vegetarianism remained until the 19th century. Then the average height of the Japanese was about 150 centimeters. But in the 20th century, when the Japanese began to actively consume meat and more actively fish, their growth increased to 165 centimeters in practice. It is protein that is most often the concern of athletes who choose vegetarianism, because plant protein is of a different nature and is more difficult to digest, with the exception of soybeans. Milk and eggs, the foods that vegetarians choose, do not have sufficient levels of amino acids for growth and tissue repair, in addition to caloric intake. Adequate intake of macro and micronutrients is important. Micronutrients include calcium and vitamin D deficiency. Chronic low calcium intake, especially with high energy expenditure, causes low bone density and can cause muscle cramps and weakness. Vitamin B12, which can only be obtained from animal products, is necessary for the preservation of red blood cells and nerve fibers. Iron deficiency, in turn, insufficient oxygen transport to body tissues. Iron is a component of hemoglobin. Zinc, along with iron, tops the list of the most important nutrients. There is also a controversial opinion that vegetarian diet causes changes in the hormonal background, especially the sex hormones estrogen and testosterone, as no major studies have been conducted. However, the cause of hormonal disorders, whether caused by vegetarian diet or just a reduction in total calories in the diet, regardless of the cause of changes in the hormonal background, can be significantly harmful to health in order to maintain a normal hormonal background. Vegetarians should monitor the hormonal background of the body. Despite all of the above, you may be wondering whether it is worth switching to a vegetarian diet. The answer is, it is worth a try. Paradoxically, this diet is able to stimulate muscle growth, and the point is that in nature there is no heat-treated protein, which means that evolution did not count on its consumption by humans. From this it follows that the breakdown of heat-treated meat is unnatural for the body. In addition to other byproducts of the breakdown are dangerous food toxins, in addition to consuming a ridiculously large amount of biological energy. Not eating meat returns this energy to the brain and muscles. However, no one forces you to become a vegetarian, especially in each person's intestines work differently. Can be considered different types of vegetarian diet, allowing the use of fish, eggs, milk and dairy products. A well-balanced diet with the right calorie, protein, vitamin and mineral content is one of the most important components of an athlete's good health and one of the most important factors of success in sports. That's all for today. I hope the video was useful and interesting for you. Share the video with your friends. See you in new videos. Bye.